It's a ways back now, but after the Marsh penalty, you guys still had them in 3rd and 16 out of field goal range. Is there anything from that specific play that you'd like to see cleaned up to sort of put that right in the back?
Yeah, I think we were a little bit softer in the coverage and lost the leverage fast, and he got some yards after he caught the ball. So the catch-tackle situation, getting tighter things, and as soon as they catch it, you get it down, and it's different because I think he gained, another 8 or so after the catch. So the yards after catch are important, especially when you got a really good kicker on that side whose range is really long, like this week.
In that moment with the outcome kind of in your hands as a defense, I imagine that everybody on your unit wants that opportunity to get that stop and embraces it. What happens when it doesn't happen? I mean,
You got to play the next play?
Was there any after effect? Did you talk to them about it?
In the moment? No.
No, not in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as in our game review stuff, we go over not just that play, but a lot of plays that lead up to that. And it's always easy to look at the most immediate thing that happens in a game and the last thing to happen. But, I mean, it's a collection of a lot of things that happen in a game and the way a game goes. And that was an optimal example of that, because there was opportunities on previous drives where we could have held him to it, instead of the extra 2 yards. And, I mean, he's kicking 50, 3 plus 50-yard field goals in that game, which is good, and we got to be better. We got to make them 60-yarders or even out of that range.
Does Lamar Jackson make it difficult for you to fall asleep at night?
So the good thing is I usually don't have trouble sleeping, but he's a unique and special talent, and you see why he's in the MVP conversation. He's deserving of that, and his game has developed so much. They've done a great job there with him. Obviously, he can beat you with his feet. He can beat you with his arm, and he's throwing the ball accurately, over the top of the defenders, and he's hitting a lot of underneath throws also. So I think he's playing the full complement of what you want a quarterback to play like in this league. He can extend plays, obviously, and even when he's extending it, he's not like some other guys where he's looking to run right away. He's still looking to kind of gas you in the pass game, and he's got the confidence to beat you in the run game.
You guys have played more man coverage this season than you did last year. Is that tricky against a guy like him if you're asking your cornerbacks to turn their backs to him?
It can be, but I mean, you look at the Dolphins game, that's all they played, and they had some success versus that. So, the scheme stuff I've told you guys, right? That's half the battle, right? And getting the guys in position, that's my half of the battle. I got to make sure our guys know that and execute that, and then the execution's the other half. I mean, you got to win one-on-ones in this league, whether it's a zone one-on-one or a man one-on-one. At some point, you're going to get isolated. And at some point, we're going to get isolated versus Lamar Jackson in the open field and versus the running backs in the open field. And we got to make tackles. We got to get the guys down. We got to swarm to the ball. We got to have that type of relentless mentality and that pursuit. And when we get a blocker on us, we got to be physical. And we got to get off blocks and make plays.
Whether it's copyable or not, what did you appreciate about the way the Dolphins attacked and found ways to neutralize Lamar?
I think that they have their brand of football. We got to practice against them, and we saw their brand of football. And they played to the strengths that they feel like are on their defense. And so they stuck to that, and they had a short week. So similarly to us, we got a few short weeks coming up here where you got to play your brand of football. What your guys feel like you do the best, and they had some success with it.
Sean Gibson was talking about how oftentimes Lamar Jackson's going to make you miss on the first tackle attempt. What do you teach guys, or how do you teach guys to take him down when they are one-on-one with him? How do you go about that?
Yeah, close the distance with speed, right? And then grab a body part and hold on. And just hold on, and you got to trust that the pursuit is coming. Because, like Deshaun said, it's rare you get a one-on-one shot on this guy, right? Just watch the tape. There's not many guys in one-on-one situations because the space is wide and limited, but you got to get the second and third guys around, and they got to come with pursuit, and they got to come with a purpose and an intentionality to help get the guy down.
John, back to training camp, there's such a point of emphasis on forcing turnovers. Why do you feel you guys haven't produced the takeaways that you would have desired?
Yeah, I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think you see guys, you saw in the Pittsburgh game, guys punching at the ball, And so takeaways, it's a funny thing, and they come in a lot of different ways, and they come in a lot of different situations in a game, and those are just facts. That's how takeaways happen. And then you got to be conscious effort at getting the ball when there's opportunities to go get the ball, whether it's the ball's in the air and we got to make better breaks and cleaner breaks on it, or if they're ball carriers and you got to take the ball off the person. Those are conscious efforts. And, it's that old analogy of, chomping at a tree, right? It's going to take 1,000 punches to get one, right? And the reality of the NFL, and I understand because takeaways are hugely important, we emphasize, and we're going to continue to do that, but you get 1,000 to 1,200 plays in the NFL for what, 30 to 40 takeaways? Right, you do the percentages. So that's the effort that we need, and we got to understand that, and we got to be willing to put in that effort to go attack the ball, and you're not going to be successful on 90% of them on the effort, but the 10% or whatever it is, the percentage that you can be successful, it's a function of effort and making a conscious choice to wrap the guy up, and then the next guy coming in, second man in, taking the ball away, and then when the ball's in the air, having clean breaks, going up and trying to pluck the ball, attacking the ball when it's in the air, when you got opportunities to do that.
Sean, what is, with 8 games to go, how do you plan to manage guys like Mack and Hicks, who are, kind of maybe a little beat up or whatever, and, obviously they want to play whenever they're healthy enough to
That's
play,
right.
but I sense it might be prudent for them to not play and be healthier for the next game. I mean, is that a situation you feel like you have to manage, or is it just whenever they're ready, and you just go?
Oh, yeah, we obviously rely on the medical team in terms of injuries and things like that, of their readiness. We want to try to put these guys in the best positions possible in terms of their physical health also, and then we got to manage them throughout the week in terms of the practice reps that we give them and all that, and then when it comes to game day, similarly, based on the flow of the game and everything, try to make sure that we're fresh when we need to be fresh, and I think that's been our mentality up until this point, and it will continue to be that way.
Do you agree that Eddie Goldman played his best game, and how much of a boost is that for a run defense that had been struggling?
Say that again, I didn't hear.
In terms of Eddie Goldman, would you agree that that was his best game of the season so far? And what does that kind of tell you for the future for a run defense that struggled over the last couple of weeks?
I think Eddie played a really good game versus the Steelers, and he was a bright spot for us, and that was good to see. He's impacted that game in a positive way, and he shows how dominant he can be when he's lined up in certain positions versus center. So that's positive, and in terms of the run defense, that's going to be a constant emphasis for us, of how we improve in the places that we're soft at, in the run defense where we're giving up some yards. And so obviously having down the middle play at that level helps you, right? And so there's a lot of factors in the run defense for us, but that his growth is certainly a factor, and it's noticeable on tape.
Outsiders maybe thought Eddie Goldman could be an instant impact right from the get after taking 2 years off. Do you think that was maybe unfair to have those expectations?
I think that's why they're outsiders, right? I mean, that's their job, is to speculate and have assumptions and go off tape. That was 2 years ago, right? When you're in the know and you work with guys every day, you got to expect that there's going to be a growth process, right? And that's the reality. I mean, it's like you trying to go write a cent, or go do your job and not doing it for 2 years, and then say, hey, it's going to be the same quality. Well, is it? Not doing it at full speed. That's not the reality, right? And he's growing into it, and he's going to continue to get better. His not like he's hit his peak yet, either. And that's for him, that's one thing. But that's really for everybody, right? Our expectation is to keep developing all these guys and making sure that they continue to get better.
Just kind of follow up.
Can you give us a better, maybe a little bit of a better idea of what he was having to go through?
Oh, I think just like, if you don't do something for a long time, it's just getting your feet wet, seeing the speed of the game, the time of the game, addressing the blocks, making sure your eyes are in the right spot, making sure your footwork and hand placement's in the right spot. And it takes time. It takes reps, right? And when you've lost reps over time, you don't get those reps back. That's time lost. And so you've got to continue to do that. And it's not like he was playing bad, right? So, but there's a certain expectation from the outsiders that you have. And so when you build expectations from the outside, I mean, oftentimes most people fail, right? I mean, even I'm sure all you guys have personal goals in your life that you set, right? They're set by you. They're not set by the people around you. Because if it were set by people around you, you probably wouldn't meet them. Because they don't know what you're going through and what you're, the process that you're trying to achieve your goals. And so it's similar, you know what I mean? He's got his goals, and we've got our goals for him, and we're going to help him develop in that way.
I just had a follow-up on the wear and tear issue. I was just curious about it. In the 17-game season, one bye, do you foresee a day where, I know load management is not a thing with a 17-game schedule, but do you foresee a day where you might say to like a Khalil Mack with a 4 days before a Thursday game, take this week off, we'd rather have you 100% for Arizona than 75% for both, whether it's an injury situation or not? Is that, do you see that ever happening?
No, yeah, I don't know, you know, because I haven't really come across that yet, and I haven't been around people that have done that in terms of the mentors and people I've been around. I mean, I think you got to, it's a 17-game season, and there's only 17 games. You know, it's not like some of these other sports where you're playing a lot of games and one game can make a difference. You know, if you got 82 is it in NBA, right? If you miss one, is it that big of a difference? You got 162 in baseball. If you miss one or two, is it that big? The percentages, right? Play the percentages again. Every single game here matters, whether in division, not in division, and when you're in the hunt like we are, they all matter. Because when you go down through the tiebreakers and all those scenarios, every single one matters. And so these guys prepare for a full year to play 17. And so we're going to operate, like I said, on a week-to-week basis on all the guys, whether they're injured or not, on the best plan for us to make sure our players are in the best position to make plays.
I guess my counter would be, if Mack is a good player at 75%, but a great player at 100, would you rather have him 100% for one game or 75 for two?
Yeah, I think that's similar to the other stuff of the outsider speculation. Right? Where in your logic is there anything that guy's going to be 100% in 2 weeks? There's no logic there. There's no.
With rest, is there a better chance that he would be?
Could be. Do you know that or no?
I don't know.
That's right. That's right. Nobody knows that. That's right. You don't know. That's right. You don't know. And so it's not. I think the reality of the thing is you got to try to be the best. Put your best football team out there each week. And I think that's the reality of it. You know, and you could hedge on percentages and say this guy's 75, 80, but again, that's an outsider speculation on how the person's playing. And that's the reality of it.
One more thing on Miami. Did they show the way you beat Baltimore, or was that like a one-time, they'll adjust to?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I in this league, I don't think there's any one way to do anything. Because Baltimore's lost a couple games this year. And they lost them differently. And they've come back on a couple different teams that played them differently. They had 3 comeback victories where 3 other teams were leading in the fourth quarter with different plans. So was that the way? No. Is it a way? For sure. Is it one way that worked on one night? Yes. And that's the reality, right? Because they're paid and they're professionals too. They're going to make their adjustments that they need to make too. And so you look at blueprints and say, hey, let's just copy this. Well, that can work, and it could also blow up in your face the same way. So you got to make sure you play to the strengths of your team, and then give your team, put your guys in the position. This is my belief. Put your guys in the best positions to make plays against the team that you're facing, and offensively, defensively, special teams. You know, that's our jobs as coaches, is try to put our guys in the best positions, give them the plans to succeed.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.